So, Barnaby, how did you get started with the seating and the casting process?
Okay. Casting. Well, it was a long process because I initially we had a different casting director on, and we had a whole different cast, and that was like after 6 months of casting, and we were kind of ready to go. And this was just before the pandemic, and then that collapsed, financing collapsed, and had to, you know, regroup and then went back out there. And obviously, like the people we'd initially cast had all gone off to do other things. And then, so then we had, yeah, like another 3 or 4 months of like trying desperately to figure out, who and where. And it was really pretty 11th out when it came together. Somebody actually suggested Scott, just who I wasn't aware of his work, and then I checked it out, and then I had a meeting with him, and there was just something about him which just felt like, yeah, just like, this character has to go from, regular kind of everyman to, primal rage by the end of it. And so I needed somebody who could get there. And, there's some amazing actors out there who will just do so good on this side but can't get to that level. And so he was just like, when I met him, I just had this sense that he could do that. And then Kate's name was like popping up a few times, and she's like, I had friends who'd worked with her, and everybody just respected her so much. And we met and talked, and yeah, there was just something about her. She has a kind of innate mystery to herself anyway. So she just seemed right, and she's just a joy to work with, and she's just brilliant, just a brilliant actress, and just like switch on into that character so perfectly. And yeah, I was so happy with both of them, really. And then the kids, picking them up from all over the country. I've never really worked with a lot of kids before, so that was a challenge. And during the pandemic, so it was mainly Zoom interviews, and it was challenging, but like, we're doing auditions over Zoom, and it's hard to really get a sense of them, and you're trying to get them to, they're child actors, they had been coached, you're trying to get them to like leave some of that coaching behind and just be a bit more, and yeah, I was very happy with them in the end. I saw them at the premiere the other night, and they're such a ragtag funny gang, so yeah.
And how was it like watching the finished product? Because it's an amazing journey to go on, right? And with the crowd, it had to be fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's great, when you're in post-production, you're just in this kind of bubble for so long, and then suddenly, I mean, really, that was the first time, yeah, I'd seen it with more than, I don't know, 8 people in a room, and people who knew nothing about it. And yeah, to see them reacting in real time, it was great. I did get this sort of feeling underneath it though, like it's like, oh my God, it's pretty intense. It's an intense ride.
Yeah.
Need to like apologize at the end of it all. I was like, through this, but yeah, it was fun. It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I was describing it to the owner of the website I work for, right for, I was like, this kind of feels like Eden Lake on a desert almost.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen Eden Lake before,
No.
but that's kind of what I got from this film. And the journey is just terrifying. And just watching Scott Haze and Kate perform like they do in a two-person show is incredible. So,
Yeah.
how was it like seeing their chemistry on set as well?
Oh, it was great. I mean, you know, obviously you never really know until you get there, and you're there. It's all, and they're both pretty demanding roles, and they are kind of like, I remember shooting one scene it's like happens quite early on in the film where he's the frustration is beginning to mount for Scott's character, and he like pulls her out of the shack and he's like questioning her, like, you know, what's going on here. And he was just like, you know, screaming at her, you know, and she was just,
Right, yeah.
you know, by the end of, and we did multiple takes, obviously, and like by the end of it, she was pretty traumatized, you know. So it was actually wonderful, like, to shoot the scene later on in the film when she eventually turns on him. And I suddenly, because she'd been so quiet the whole time, and suddenly to see her like come alive and just like unleash this power that she has was just really, that was a really fulfilling moment, you know. And also just them just talking at the dinner table, you know, these very quiet scenes was just,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great, yeah.
And how was it like for everybody to really know that this is gonna be playing at the Tribeca Film Festival? Because that's a really huge film festival to be a
Yeah,
part of.
yeah. I mean, especially for the kids, you know, who've not really done films before and stuff, they were obviously like super excited, you know. This is like, and they all flew in from like all over the country, so it was really really fun. I mean, I used to live here in New York, so I know it well. My first film documentary premiered here like about I don't know, 7 years ago. So I'm a bit more familiar with it, but it's always exciting, you know. Film festivals are great, and getting to see other filmmakers work, and it's great.
Well, Barnaby, thank you so much for joining us in Infamous Horrors today. It's been fun, and congratulations on the seating, and particularly playing at the Tribeca Film Festival. Congratulations.
Absolutely, been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.